Imagine a country, one that was devastated by war just 70 years ago, and today it's one of the first places that come to mind when we talk about technology, music, and the economy. That country is South Korea. The Korean War, which began in the 1950s, split the Korean peninsula in two, North and South Korea. The North became a communist state, backed by the Soviet Union, while the South turned to a capitalist system, with strong support from the United States. But after the war, South Korea was in complete ruins. The economy had collapsed, cities were destroyed, and people were struggling with hunger, poverty, and uncertainty. So what changed everything in such a short time? The economic development programs that began in the late 1950s breathed new life into the country. This era is called the Miracle on the Han River. Just like a river, growth flowed continuously. South Korea focused on industrialization. Investments initially supported by US aid eventually led to the rise of massive homegrown companies. Samsung, Hyundai, LG. These global giants were the foundations that lifted the country during those years. But progress wasn't just about money. South Koreans transformed their nation through incredible discipline and an unwavering work ethic. This new system, built on education, technology, and exports, quickly turned South Korea into the rising star of Asia. Of course, we shouldn't forget the military and political influence of the US either. American troops are still stationed in South Korea, acting both as a shield against North Korea and a symbol of ongoing American presence in the region. South Korea's story is not just about economics, it's a testament to human willpower, rebirth, and determination. But did this rapid development come with a cost? That's something we'll talk about in the next chapters. Before moving on to the next part, if you've watched this far, thank you, my friends. And if you'd like to support us, even just a little, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. Today, walking through the streets of Seoul feels like walking into the future. Smart bus stops, Wi-Fi-enabled streetlights, even the toilets are high-tech. So how did South Korea achieve all this? Since the 1990s, South Korea has embraced technology not just as a tool, but as a way of life. The government has poured billions of dollars into science and R&D. Especially in the fields of telecommunications and electronics, they rose to compete with the best in the world very quickly. Today, South Korea is one of the countries with the fastest internet in the world. 5G technology was tested, developed, and implemented here. In fact, work on 6G has already begun. And this speed isn't just about the internet. Seoul is known as one of the most advanced smart cities in the world. Transportation systems, surveillance, energy usage, all are centrally managed by AI-supported systems. But the biggest leap came thanks to brands that entered our homes. Samsung doesn't just make phones, it produces chips, TVs, health tech, and even military equipment. LG operates in a wide range of industries, from home appliances to robotics. Hyundai, with its electric and autonomous vehicles, is now much more than just an automotive brand. Of course, behind all this, success is a strong education system, but it's also a very harsh one. Students start studying at 7 a.m. and continue until 11 p.m. in private academies. Everyone feels the pressure to be the best. While South Korea climbs to the top of the tech world, it also carries the heavy burden of that pace. This competition in education continues in professional life as well. On average, people in South Korea work 52 hours a week. Vacations? Not so easy. The goal, to be the best. So everything you're watching on the screen is the product of years of planning, investment, and intense social pressure. K-pop, Korean dramas, those vibrant scenes, flawless faces, dances, songs. South Korea has captured the world with its culture. But behind this dazzling showcase, what really lies behind the curtain? South Korea's global cultural export, also known as the Hallyu wave, exploded with K-pop. Groups like BTS and Blackpink didn't just make music, they offered a whole lifestyle. Singing entirely in Korean, they managed to gain millions of fans worldwide. Likewise, K-dramas broke records on platforms like Netflix. Remember Squid Game? That series was one of the most brutal reflections of South Korea's hidden societal struggles. But with this popularity comes tremendous pressure within the country. The music and acting industries are filled with intense competition, long training hours, and strict contracts. Idols are expected to look perfect from a very young age. This has turned South Korea into one of the countries with the highest number of plastic surgeries in the world. Looking beautiful has become less of a choice and more of a necessity. Now let's take a look at daily social life. In South Korean society, success is everything. So important, in fact, that many people buckle under the pressure. Over time, work culture is widespread, and taking a vacation is often seen as laziness. Being unsuccessful can almost mean social exclusion. This is one of the reasons why South Korea has one of the highest suicide rates among OECD countries. Women are still often treated as secondary in many industries. Although feminist movements are growing, they also receive heavy backlash. Military service is mandatory for men, while for women, marriage, children, and social expectations tend to take center stage. So behind this cultural success story lies an invisible world of pressure. Behind the bright screens are sleepless nights, loneliness, and the constant need to achieve more. When you think of South Korea, you might picture tall skyscrapers, fast internet, or K-pop. But the roots of this country are filled with much more color and surprising traditions. Let's open the door to that traditional world a little. Hanbok and hanuks. The traditional Korean dress, hanbok, is still proudly worn on special occasions. With its vibrant colors, patterns, and elegance, it's like a living artwork carried from the past. Similarly, hanuks, traditional Korean houses, are still popular among tourists for their wooden structure, floor seating, and minimalistic design. Kimchi and street foods. When it comes to Korean cuisine, the first thing that comes to mind is kimchi. You could call it fermented cabbage, but it's far from ordinary. There are over 200 types of kimchi in the country,